event. Zack Sabre Jr. defending the World Heavyweight title against Hirooki Goto. Can Goto finally win the big one? There is only one story to tell here, is that this man has been the bridesmaid, not the bride, over and over again. He's come within a whisker over and over again and never quite done it. Is this the time? Jeremy, yes or no? Is Hirooki Goto winning the World Heavyweight title on Tuesday?
Yes.
Oh, you're going with yes. You're going with Samurai Dad. He's going to get the moment.
I look at the landscape and I look at the future and I look in the blueprint. And I've said this for a while. I think Zack Sabre Jr. has done everything that he needs to do as the IWGP champion. There are no more hills to climb. There are no more mountains to conquer at this point. He has made. Whoever he loses to, unless it's one of the young guys, like if he loses to the title to Shota Umino or Yota Tsuji or one of those guys, he should be holding on to the title for a very, very long time. But if he's not losing it, he needs to lose it to a guy who's then going to lose it to a guy who's going to win it to them. Like you either go the short route or you go the long way around.
Yeah.
And this is the long way around. He is the perfect. I know when you say a person is a transitional champion, that's meant with a derogatory or a slur or a dismissive tone.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be, should it?
Well, there are times where a transitional champion is exactly what you need. Is that you both make and reputationally enhance somebody, and at the same time you are able to pivot to a new starting block for whatever your IWGP story is going to be. Presumably, it's David Finlay coming for that title and then holding it hostage in a lot of ways. But, it's like, how do you get there? And Finlay challenging Goto as the winner of the New Japan Cup makes an immense amount of sense for me, setting up April and May and for the rest of the year. Do they do that? I don't know. But, there are many paths to take. But that is very clearly the simplest path. And there aren't a whole lot of shows in which we're going to pivot. We can look at this entire card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the singles matches that are happening at the bottom. If who challenges, who comes out at the end of the show and challenges whoever is the winner.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a little dire because they're all title matches and all these. I don't know, but there's a feeling that I have that it's time, and Goto is the guy, and there's no other time to do it but now.
And looking at that, because it's a good point. Usually, not every time, but you will often get a challenge coming from someone winning a special singles match. We're loaded with special singles matches. The winner of Shingo and Drilla, that could be the one that comes out afterwards. Shota and Great Khan could be the person that comes out.
Shingo and Goto in a match. I would be there for that.
Yeah, Taichi and Sonata. We mentioned that
we've done Shingo and Zack, so we did it recently.
Yeah, could very well be. It seems like the challengers line up neatly in that area. And I've been on record. I think if David Finlay stays with New Japan, I think he's the champion in 2025 at some point. Yeah. I think that's just where it's headed. So either one of those guys could deliver it to Finlay, though, because both of them are really baby faces. I mean, Zack's certainly not a heel. Goto is right now probably the most sentimental baby face in the whole company at the moment.
I think the scenario would be better if Zack were to come in and say, I was champion, I want a shot at you, to get this. And then there's just some kind of fuckery that causes Zack to just not win that match. But I don't like the idea of Finlay beating Zack for the title, but I like the idea of Finlay successfully defending against Zack if he had the title.
And so what we'll have there is just one of those situations where Zack, you said, is a made man, and I think you're right. They can put him back in the title picture at any time. He can regain this thing if they need him to. If there's some either a storyline reason or an injury that pops up, this guy has the equity. He is a world title level guy.
Reserve main eventer at any given point.
So mission accomplished, right? You could do the switch here. You could also leave it on him. You absolutely could. And, and just have that be Goto's story. Colin thinks that he says, Goto says, he says Goto is not beating ZSJ. Come on. And
the perfect guy to beat him.
War Hero chooses chaos. He just said Goto turns heel to win to usher in a new era of chaos. So
there are a lot of top guys or guys that you're trying to make in New Japan right now. This is a lot like, and I'm gonna invoke Jey Uso, where it's like there's so much talent at the top that when you bring a guy in that's not quite at the top and you introduce him, he's almost like the equalizer among all the main event talent, in which they can all vie for that title and try and take it off of him and then reset the whole level playing field. And at the same time, you're elevating that guy so he's now on the level with them in the perception of the fan service. There is a lot of goodwill that has happened for Goto as a result of just being in this main event position. Like the perception and the shift of people who are paying attention to Japan, there is something very real behind it right now. And I do not want to dismiss it.
They've done an excellent job because this really could go either way. This is another match here where it's honest to goodness toss up, and you could talk yourself into Zack retaining, you could talk yourself into Goto winning, and there are good options either way afterwards. Mm-hmm. So once again, I just feel like New Japan is on a strong path. Whatever happens on Tuesday, I think there's good stuff coming up, and I think that there is. We may not know what it is off the top of our heads right here, but I do think that New Japan has a long-term vision and a direction. And,
I think so too.
Just a massive improvement from 365 days ago when I think they were scrambling.
Yeah, I think we're on a good road this year for New Japan. I think everything could be great. I also want to congratulate you, Steven. We have done 150 episodes of this fucking show.
150 of these things, 150 of them. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so small little hey, ho, ho. This podcast is ready to go every week.
Oh,
So good job by us.